September 2nd, 1998. Swissair Flight 111, a state-of-the-art MD-11, departs from New York's JFK Airport, bound for Geneva, Switzerland. On board are 215 passengers and 14 crew members. The flight, known as the UN Shuttle, due to its popularity with diplomats and business executives, climbs smoothly into the twilight sky over the Atlantic. Everything appears perfectly normal. Less than an hour into the flight, at an altitude of 33,000 feet, a strange smell, like burning wires, wafts into the cockpit. First Officer Stefan Liu and Captain Ernst Zimmermann are seasoned pilots, but this is unsettling. They initially dismiss it as a minor air conditioning issue, a common occurrence. But within minutes, smoke begins to seep into the cockpit. This is no longer a minor issue, it's a rapidly escalating emergency. At 10:14 p.m. Atlantic time, they make their first distress call to air traffic control in Moncton, Canada. The message is calm but firm. Swissair 111 Heavy is declaring pan. We have smoke in the cockpit. We request a diversion. Pan is an international urgency signal, one step below Mayday. It means they have a serious problem, but are not in immediate grave danger. The controller in Moncton offers them the closest major airport, Halifax, Nova Scotia, about 65 nautical miles away. The crew accepts. At this point, they believe they have time to run their checklists, time to prepare for a safe, albeit unexpected, landing. Their initial plan is to descend, dump fuel to reduce their landing weight, and then make a controlled approach into Halifax. But the situation inside the cockpit is deteriorating at an alarming rate. The smoke thickens, becoming acrid and blinding. Key instruments begin to fail. The autopilot disengages. The flight displays go dark. One by one, the electronic systems that make the MD-11 one of the most advanced jets of its era are flickering out. The pilots are losing control, flying blind in a smoke-filled box miles above the cold Atlantic. Just 12 minutes after their first pan call, the situation becomes critical. At 10:25 p.m., Captain Zimmermann is heard on the cockpit voice recorder saying they have to land immediately. A final, garbled transmission is received by air traffic control. It contains the word emergency. Then, silence. Swissair Flight 111 vanishes from radar screens. On the ground, a massive search and rescue operation is launched. Fishing boats, Coast Guard vessels, and military aircraft from the nearby communities of Peggy's Cove and Blandford scramble into the dark waters. They are met with a horrific scene, a field of debris stretching for miles, the smell of jet fuel hanging heavy in the air. There are no survivors. All 229 people on board are lost. The world is in shock. How could a modern aircraft, operated by a prestigious airline with an impeccable safety record, simply fall out of the sky? The task of finding out what happened falls to the Transportation Safety Board of Canada, or TSB. It would become one of the most complex, expensive, and longest aviation investigations in history. The recovery effort, codenamed Operation Persistence, is immense. Over the next several months, divers and remote-operated vehicles work tirelessly to retrieve wreckage from the ocean floor, more than 180 feet below the surface. They recover over 2 million pieces of the aircraft, an astonishing 98% of the plane by weight. It's like reassembling a giant three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle from shattered fragments. Investigators painstakingly lay out the wreckage in a hangar, reconstructing portions of the aircraft to trace the fire's origin. They focus on the cockpit area, where the smoke was first reported. The evidence points to a fire that started above the ceiling on the right side of the cockpit. The crucial clue comes from a few melted and arced wires. These wires were part of a newly installed in-flight entertainment system. This system, designed to give first and business class passengers a luxury experience with personal video screens, was a cutting-edge feature at the time. The investigation reveals a fatal flaw in its design and installation. The power wires for the system were routed alongside other critical aircraft wiring, and they were not adequately protected by their own circuit breakers. The TSB's final report, released 4.5 years later, concludes that an electrical arcing event occurred in the wiring of this entertainment system. This arc ignited nearby flammable materials. The primary culprit was a type of thermal and acoustic insulation blanket called MPET, or metallized polyethylene terephthalate. This material, widely used in the industry, was found to be far more flammable than certification tests suggested. Once ignited, the fire spread rapidly and uncontrollably above the cockpit ceiling, hidden from the crew's view. There were no fire detectors or suppression systems in that area. The fire melted aluminum structures and, most critically, destroyed the wiring for essential flight instruments and controls, leading to the catastrophic loss of the aircraft. The pilots were brave and competent, but they were fighting a battle they could never win. They didn't know where the fire was, how big it was, or how to fight it. The tragedy of Swissair 111 became a watershed moment for aviation safety. The investigation led to sweeping changes across the entire industry. The Federal Aviation Administration and other global regulators mandated the replacement of MPET insulation blankets with fire-resistant materials in thousands of aircraft. New, more stringent standards for wiring and circuit breaker design were implemented to prevent similar electrical faults. Procedures for dealing with in-cockpit smoke were overhauled, now emphasizing the need to land as quickly as possible, even if it means an overweight landing. The legacy of Flight 111 is also deeply personal. In the small communities of Nova Scotia that border the crash site, memorials stand as a quiet tribute to the 229 souls lost. One in Bayswater and another in Whalesback, near Peggy's Cove, face the ocean, forever linked to the tragedy. The local fishermen and residents who participated in the recovery were profoundly affected, and their efforts created a lasting bond with the families of the victims who came from all over the world. The story of Swissair Flight 111 is a somber reminder of the complex interplay between technology, human factors, and unforeseen risks. It shows how something as seemingly benign as an entertainment system could lead to disaster, but it is also a testament to the relentless pursuit of safety that defines modern aviation. From the ashes of this tragedy came crucial lessons that have made flying safer for everyone. The 229 lives lost were not in vain. They became catalysts for changes that protect millions of passengers who take to the skies every single day. Thank you for watching. If you found this story meaningful, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more in-depth looks at moments that changed our world. Stay safe.